So today we're doing something a little bit different. I'll be ranking every single theatrical Spider-Man movie and putting them all into one tier list with 4 tiers. GOAT, great, mid, or hot, stanky ass. 2002 Spider-Man. And honestly, I just watched this a few months ago and it still ages so well. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is so good. Honestly, I couldn't imagine somebody else better as Green Goblin. And I do love his outfit a lot, especially the mask and the way they play into it whenever it's like on the chair or somewhere else and he's talking to it. It's so damn good. It still ages so well. And obviously some of the memes for that movie, I'm something of a scientist myself, still goated. I loved, like, Toby is really good in this movie. It's a really good origin story. I mean, it's the basic Uncle Ben, Peter learning how to use his powers for the first time and all that kind of stuff. I remember Bonesaw's ready. I remember that whole wrestling arc. And just in general, him and Green Goblin, especially that final fight of the movie, MJ. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of MJ in the Raimi trilogy, but overall, I think everything in this movie was still really good and still holds up today. Like, I'd still watch it in a heartbeat. So I'm going to put this in great tier. And next up, of course, is Spider-Man 2. Now, most people regard this as the greatest Spider-Man and also one of the greatest, if not the greatest, superhero movie of all time. Yeah, that's a big ask, man. And I'll be honest, I don't really know still. I mean, I did watch that a decent while ago. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do love Doc Ock in this movie so much. They did a great job with him. I do think this movie does a lot of the stuff better than the first movie, especially with the action. But also, I love Tobey's story in this. Obviously, him messing with the reality of Peter Parker and Spider-Man clashing together. That's that really good Spider-Man story that I love to see in just about any Spider-Man movie, show, any source of media that has Spider-Man do that. That's usually when Spider-Man is at his best, is when Peter Parker and Spider-Man are clashing together and he's trying to make it figure out. And sometimes he almost wants to just stop being Spider-Man, or he's a little more miserable, or there's something going on with his romantic life. But I love the way that they put, also, obviously, the train scene in this movie. He doesn't remember the freaking train scene. Also, the end of the movie with the core, the reactor core, and all that, and how that happened with Doc Ock and everything else. Also, obviously, the suit in these two movies is so good. I mean, I love Tobey's suit so much. I do think it is a better Spider-Man movie than the original Spider-Man movie, and I'm gonna have to put this probably in. I'm gonna put this in great tier. I know that might be a hot take. I know you guys might hate me for that one, but we're gonna put that one there. And I'm not even gonna waste any time. Next up is Spider-Man 3, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie is straight up hot ass. This is probably, actually, no, this is definitely the worst Spider-Man movie of all time. I do not like, first off, Venom being in this movie. I don't really think Venom should have even been in this movie anyway. And even if he was, I don't think Sandman should have been in this movie. I don't think the Harry plot should have been the way it was with him becoming like the next Green Goblin in this movie either. Also, Venom's design was literally just the symbiote Spider-Man suit, but with a mouth, just a large gaping mouth. And also, his design, everything about him, I just didn't like it whatsoever. Obviously, there's Bully Maguire, which obviously is the meme lord essentially. And as good as the memes are, I really do not like Tobey as the bully, Peter Parker, the symbiote Peter Parker. I just don't think he pulls it off as well as some other people could, or just in general, some other versions of symbiote Peter, or, symbiote Spider-Man, and how he is. Dude, I feel like the Insomniac game really, like Spider-Man 2, did that really, really well. Obviously, they changed a little bit of it, but there's so much about this movie I just did not like. And it's just kind of a cluttery mess, and I just don't like the way how it ends things. And of course, there's still MJ. I do not like Peter and MJ in these movies whatsoever. It's just, God, MJ sucks, bro. Hall of Fame for the streets. This movie is hot ass. Next up, we got The Amazing Spider-Man. And I will tell you right now, first off, the suit, I know that some people either hate it or they love it. And there's a lot of people that do not like the suit. I don't understand the hate. I guess it's a little different. I know if this suit had the white eyes, oh my God, I can only imagine how much better it would be. But this suit still kicks ass, and I will always defend the suit in this movie. But also, I really like the Lizard in this movie a lot. Maybe not Kirk Connors himself at certain points in the movie, but I do. Now, unfortunately, yes, this is also another origin with Uncle Ben. But to be honest, I actually do like the Uncle Ben in this movie more. And also, one thing I don't like about the Amazing Spider-Man movies is how they handle Peter's parents, and there's an actual, like, reason to how Peter became Spider-Man because of his parents in some kind of way. But overall, I do think The Amazing Spider-Man does a lot of stuff really well. Obviously, the swinging, the action. I love Andrew Garfield more than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Yeah, I know, I said it. I just feel like his charisma as Spider-Man, his liners, the way he looks in the suit, his physique. Also, like the things that they just do with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is just so iconic time and time again. And there's a lot I really liked, especially a lot of the scenes like where he's in the sewer with the lizard bro. Oh my god, sets up the camera. You got the when it starts to shake, the web starts to shake. His battle with the lizard in general, also in like the library or in the school, was really good. The lizard overall, his design is a little strange because obviously they don't give him like that snout that like a normal crocodile or a lizard actually kind of has. But overall, I do really like the lizard's design and a lot of the plot points. Now, with Gwen's father, yeah, it was still pretty good. But I do love Peter and Gwen. I think the Peter and Gwen in the Amazing Spider-Man movies is the best relationship out of any of the Spider-Man movies. You know what? I'm also gonna put this in great tier. I know that might be a hot take, but I just feel like it belongs there. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is also in hot ass, but I'm gonna put it above Spider-Man 3 because Amazing Spider-Man 2, first off, the swinging sequences is some of the greatest sequences of all time in any live action Spider-Man movie. Some of the action sequences are incredible. The suit is basically arguably the greatest Spider-Man suit of all time, almost identical and almost perfect compared to the comics. It looks so good on so many shots. Andrew kills it in the suit. There's so many iconic fight scenes, especially in Times Square. Also, that Electro fight towards the end of the movie was really good. And of course, Peter and Gwen, so damn good in this movie. And of course, the ending with Gwen's death, that whole part was absolutely incredible. Almost a lot of the things with Spider-Man in the suit and things that he does, like helping out that little kid, especially like the beginning or towards the end. And also when he has that hose with the firefighters and a bunch of other stuff. This movie has a lot of straight up Spider-Man moments that I absolutely love. But other than that, dude, just about almost everything else is just not good. First off, Harry, there's a lot about Harry that I was not the biggest fan. First off, when he also becomes Green Goblin, his design is straight up ass cheeks. It is such a terrible design. He doesn't act anything like Green Goblin would. And I'm not a big fan of Harry becoming Green Goblin just in general. I just prefer it to be Norman. And then also Electro, dude. I love Jamie Foxx, but yeah, that design in that movie was straight up trash. Like, holy hell, they did him so bad. Obviously, before he became Electro, but also as Electro, I did not like his design at all either. And I feel like to have Electro and Green Goblin in the same movie, and also they were trying to set up a Sinister Six movie, and nothing ever happened with that. There was so much going on in this movie when, honestly, if you were going to do the Harry Green Goblin storyline, you should either built that up and done that in the next movie, or you should just not had it at all, had Electro, maybe a couple other guys, or just not had Electro and just had Harry in this movie. It would have made a lot more sense. But I think the only thing that holds this movie up is some of the sequences and just Spider-Man in that suit in general. Other than that, that movie, it's just not good. And I don't ever want to rewatch that really. That and Spider-Man 3 is, I've never want to rewatch those movies. That's why I'm going to put him in hot ass. Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland's first Spider-Man solo film. This is overall a really good movie. First off, I love Peter and Ned together always in every single movie. There's one of my favorite jokes later on in the movie. I don't know if I should say it just in case if I could get I don't know what could happen with YouTube. You never know. If you say corn, I guess. Oh, I'm watching corn. That was hilarious. A lot of their dynamic, by the way, Peter and Ned's dynamic in all the movies is actually really great. MJ, I never really cared about. Peter's suit in this movie, I do actually really like a lot. I don't think it's nearly as good as some of the other ones that he has, especially in Brand New Day. But oh, the boat sequence, I did like the boat sequence a lot. Iron Man in this movie was pretty good. It made sense why Iron Man was in this movie. Obviously, I would prefer my Spider-Man movies to not have, certain Avengers people or things like that. This movie does feel more of like an Iron Man Jr. one, but not to the degree of Far From Home at all. And I would also say that it is better than Far From Home. I'll actually and also, by the way, Michael Keaton's Vulture is top tier. I love him in this movie so much. Shocker, I hate what they did with Shocker in this movie. That was terrible. I never want to see anything like that ever again. They've done such a disservice to Shocker, bro. But overall, I'll put it in great. I feel like it belongs in great tier, honestly. I'd put it on the same level as these. I wouldn't say it's a level below, but I would say it's at the end of these films for sure, for sure. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm going to tell you right now, The Spider-Verse movies are on a whole other level, dude. Even though it's not Peter Parker as the main character, they do such a good job with Miles Morales. I think it is the best version of Miles Morales of all time, hands down. I love the design of all the characters. The animation in these movies literally changed animation as a whole. I mean, most animated movies now are trying to do the Spider-Verse animation in some way, shape, or form. The soundtrack is amazing. The storyline, first off, Prowler. I love Prowler. I love his theme, his design. Also, the plot line between Miles and his uncle and the way it hits towards the end when he dies. So damn good. Also, Miles and his father. You got Kingpin in this movie. That was really, really good, especially with him trying to get Vanessa and his child back. Using that, and also I love all the other Spider-Man in this movie. Also, of course, Peter in this movie. I freaking love Peter. All the memes from this movie are so good. The action sequences kick a major ass. I love the final aspect. Also, just with Miles and Gwen and Peter, they're all so good together. And this movie is just it's so good, man. It's so freaking good. And especially when Miles later on in the movie actually gets his suit and actually knows how to use his powers is oh my god, the payoff is literal top tier. I think there is not a single thing wrong with this movie whatsoever. I don't have a single complaint about this movie, and I think it delivers some of the best Spider-Man stuff we've kind of ever gotten on film. And I think is probably honestly one of the most perfect Spider-Mans, if not the most perfect Spider-Man movie I've probably ever seen. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put it in goated, man. I'm gonna put it in goated. I feel like it deserves to be in goated tier. It is a perfect film. I don't think there's a single flaw. If you have a flaw with that, put it down in the comments below. But honestly, ever since I watched that, it is infinitely rewatchable. Everything about it is so perfect. And it may not be Peter, but man, especially the way that one Peter dies and then Miles takes his place, but he also has to learn his powers throughout the whole movie and then eventually gets it with an amazing payoff and everything else. And everything about this movie, it was just flawless. It was just flawless. It's goated. It's goated. Fight me in the comments. I don't know. It's just goated. Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, this is the most Iron Man Jr. or Peter Stark movie out of all the Tom Holland movies, for sure. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's some parts of this movie that I actually did really enjoy that were really funny. First, also the Mysterio parts of this movie, dude. Oh my god, that one sequence where Mysterio is just doing the craziest shit ever to Spider-Man. He's trying to that was top tier. That was so good. There's a lot of Mysterio stuff I liked. Also, the ending when he's framed Spider-Man, that was also really damn good. I really do like me a good cliffhanger ending, and you'll find that out in a minute here as well for another movie. But I love cliffhangers. But a lot about this movie too is just like I just don't like the Iron Man Jr. stuff. I mean, think about it. One of the main parts of this whole movie is the technology that Mysterio's using that is literally Tony Stark's thing because also Tony Stark just passed away before this movie happens. And also, it's Tom Holland Spider-Man dealing with the grief of Tony Stark throughout this entire movie, and then also taking up the mantle of basically being the next Iron Man. And I like my Spider-Man just being Spider-Man, dude. And that's a lot of I didn't like that. Of course, I still like a lot of the Ned and Spider-Man, some of the romance between him and MJ, but I'm still not the biggest fan of Zendaya's MJ. To be honest with you, maybe hot take, maybe not. But overall, I did enjoy a lot of the sequences towards the end of this movie with Mysterio. Just in general, I think that whole ending with Mysterio was actually really good. The whole final battle, everything like that, was pretty damn sweet. And you know what? It's I'll just put in mid. I definitely wouldn't say it's better than any of these movies for sure, but it's definitely better than these two movies, 100%, no questions asked, dude. Spider-Man No Way Home. So there's a whole thing going on right now where a lot of people are saying that this movie is not nearly as good as we thought, right? More people are saying it's aged like milk. A lot of people don't like it as much anymore. It's more of a theatrical movie, which I get it. It's more of a theatrical movie for sure because there's a billion type of reveals and a lot of things in the movie that you can see that are aimed more towards a cinematic experience. But I get it. Also, as well, the first half of the movie is not even close to as good as the second half. The second half is 10 out of 10, straight up peak. I wouldn't change a single thing. But I will say right now, dude, Green Goblin in this movie is better than Green Goblin in the original Spider-Man film, especially because first off, I love the mask and the whole outfit in general, but you only get that at the very beginning of this movie when he's revealed. After that, the Green Goblin and Norman Osborn is straight up in the face in his acting in general, and Willem Dafoe kicks ass at his performance in the way, especially that whole part when they don't need saving, all that, and they have that turn in the apartment and they have that fight. That was straight up Holy hell, that was done so well. I can't even believe how good that was. Now, and yes, this movie does have a little bit of messy parts with it and stuff like that. And also yes, there's the ending with everybody forgetting Peter Parker. I actually like that part because it really is something Spider-Man would legitimately do, and especially how it carries on to Brand New Day and the weight of this movie. There's actual consequences to this movie. This movie's actually really funny. Also, Tobey and Andrew kick ass in this movie. Everybody is so good in this movie. I mean, all of them are good. There's not a bad Spider-Man. There's not a bad Spider-Man villain, actor, or anything. They all do an amazing job in this entire movie. And honestly, I love this movie. I could rewatch it time and time again. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. So I'm gonna go ahead and put. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and put No Way Home. I'm gonna put it in goated, but I'm not gonna put it above Into the Spider-Verse. I think Into the Spider-Verse is definitely a better movie when it comes to the writing and things like that. And yes, it doesn't rely off the theatrical experience, but dude, it's just it's hard to get past that. But in my opinion, personally, I would rewatch No Way Home over literally any of the movies under it. That might be a hot take. I don't know. Down in the comments, flame me. I don't know, but that's just my take. That's just my take. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, dude, I love every single thing about this movie. Every single thing. Miguel O'Hara, by the way, greatest design he's ever had somehow, even though he's always had a great design. His aura, Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor, so he always kicks ass in his roles that he does. And he kicks his ass, he kicks major ass as Miguel O'Hara in this movie. Miles, just the suit looks better. He in general is better because he's older and he's been Spider-Man for just a little bit now. And I do love all the other iterations of Spider-Man in this movie. I don't like what they did with Ben Reilly, just making him like some comic relief thing, but it's whatever. Gwen, we see more of her story, especially in the very beginning of the film, the introduction. Also introducing the canon and how the canon works. I actually love the canon and how all that works. I love all the Spider-Man. Also, the Spot, a stupid little dinky villain, all of a sudden turns into one of the scariest, craziest villains you have ever seen in a Spider-Man film. Literally insane how they did that switch up. The score, the animation, this is the best looking animated film I have ever seen in my entire life, dude. And also the cliffhanger ending. Some people are obviously not putting it as high because they need to see the next movie to come out in order to give it a rating. Nah, dude, I love me a cliffhanger ending. I think it does such a great job with that ending. Miles being in the wrong universe, and now he's gonna have to deal with the Prowler version of himself. But it was actually the other world that doesn't have Spider-Man. It's all Miles' fault because he had that spider that Miles was supposed to have. Brother, that was so fire. I cannot wait for that to happen. And especially seeing the other Spider-Man from the first movie at the end of that movie, and we'll see them in the next one. Such a good ending. I love Miles and Gwen throughout this entire film. Their relationship is even stronger, even better. And dude, I could rewatch this movie time and time again. I've actually rewatched this movie recently more than any other Spider-Man movie. And if you don't know, man, I'm gonna be totally honest with you right now. But I will say, Peter and the baby, I didn't really care about that part. I kind of wish he just didn't have his bathrobe on and the baby the entire time. But I guess we'll have to wait for the next movie for that. But dude, other than that, this movie is literally flawless. I don't have honestly a single complaint about this movie. I think it is a literal perfect piece of cinema, to be completely honest. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know why this thing is not just like automatically moving it up. I'm putting it in GOAT, but in my personal preference, I will personally watch this over basically almost any Spider-Man movie. So I'm gonna put it at the top of GOAT. That might be a crazy ass hot take, but dude, for me, another thing too is rewatchability. And these are probably the two most rewatchable Spider-Man movies of all time. So 100% the GOAT, and it might actually be the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, for sure. Especially the message of Uncle Ben, the sacrifice, being Spider-Man in that kind of regard. That is a very big theme in this movie, especially with Miles and his dad possibly dying and that whole thing ruining the canon. And this sacrifice is a humongous thing about Spider-Man, and this movie really hits home the meaning of sacrifice to Spider-Man. And I think they did an amazing job, dude. And the action in this movie as well is also really damn good, dude. Just Miguel's theme alone. Also, by the way, this is the only movie I've ever seen in the movie theater by myself was this. And I saw that, by the way, guess what? For the fifth time in theaters. Yeah. Yeah. It's goated, dude. Which leads us finally with Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm putting it in goated, dude. And I'm actually going to put it above No Way Home. This movie, Tom Holland is now officially, in my opinion, the greatest Spider-Man of all time. I think he's straight up Spider-Man. And one thing that definitely helps is that we've literally aged with Tom Holland. I mean, we've seen him grow up in these Spider-Man films. And this Spider-Man movie marks a whole new era of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, where he is actually Spider-Man. I mean, miserable as hell, lives on his own, has a ton of regrets, clashing with Peter and Spider-Man. Like a lot of decisions he's made has ruined his entire life as Peter Parker, so he's basically only Spider-Man. The only difference is he's not working for the Daily Bugle yet, but he definitely probably will in like the next movie or something. But the action sequences in this movie are the best of all time out of any live action Spider-Man film. The swinging sequences are arguably the greatest out of any Spider-Man movie aside from like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's probably the only other competition it has when it comes to the web swing. The suit is the greatest Spider-Man suit of all time. It's literally just the comic book suit. If anything, you make the white a little bit bigger, it's literally exactly like the comics. That 100% is the greatest Spider-Man suit. Also, him and the Punisher work so damn well together in this movie. It's exactly how I picture them. They brought Savage Hulk back. They did it in actually a good way. Thank God. Sadie Sink in this movie, she does a really good job. I do like her as, spoiler alert, Jean Grey. But there are some things that they did with Jean Grey that makes it a little bit different. I mean, she was kind of just a villain in this movie, so it was like how the X-Men would go forward, and that's going to be a little interesting how they handle that. But Peter, it's like there's so many times watching Brand New Day where I and my brother, one of my brothers, were saying, "That's Spider-Man. That is 100% Spider-Man." Like so much of this movie, also the whole community of New York, everybody loves Spider-Man. They literally gave him a key to the city. The way the fans and everybody interacts with Spider-Man, the way Spider-Man interacts with the fans in this movie is exactly how Spider-Man would act. The love for Spider-Man. This whole movie centers around the love of Spider-Man, but also the sacrifice and the sadness and the misery of Spider-Man, and also how he's a real person and can be a real person in New York City like one of us. And that's one of the best things about Spider-Man is that. Also the way this movie shot, it looks, its coloring, everything else is so much better than any other Marvel movie in recent memory. And it's so well, man. And also the fact that it's mostly practical also makes it a lot better, and you can tell during the film as well. But this is my Spider-Man, dude. Tom Holland has officially upgraded to the Spider-Man, and this movie has 100% done it for him. So overall, that's gonna have to do this list. I know there's probably some pretty interesting hot takes that are gonna be coming in. So I can only imagine how you guys in the comments are gonna be. But yeah, that's just gonna do it for me. So don't kill me in the comments. I don't know. Did you like it? Did you not? I guess we'll find out.